Would you like to learn one of my favorite art exercises that allows us to process and release stress and ugly thoughts that spin in our minds? Join me for this week's return to the 52-week art journal journey, because we are better with art. Welcome to week 4 of the 52-week art journal journey. Let me start by saying that trying to film this video has been a struggle, and I have been forced to revisit letting go of perfection in our art journal, or in this case, in our art journal videos. Not that I ever thought I had perfection, but I finally had to quit trying to get the lights set up in a way that didn't cast too many shadows, the iPad set up at a good angle. Granted, neither of these things have been ideal in the past, but the shadows have been really noticeable, and they're really my creaky chair. And they're really noticeable now. But it's time to do this. So I know, as well as preparing your space, I have encouraged you to breathe to help calm yourself and get focused in on this moment. I need to walk away from the chaos of trying to get to this moment without things tipping over and wires going crazy and cats going nuts. And I find it interesting that starting this video has been so much harder than any of the others, because this week we're doing one of my favorite emotion/thought processing, making art out of something processes. I started calling it Words Upon Words during the 100-day project when I took it to a new level in my 100-day art journal. For me, it's the perfect blend of emotionally charged or upset or angsty or confused, mind dump journaling and art as anything else I have ever come up with. As I encourage you to take deep breaths to get started today, I was also going to say, wait, if there's something that's on your mind right now, if there's something you're stressing about, we're going to use that. And we are. I just had no idea I'd be so keyed up myself. This week, our small art project is also our grounding technique and journaling. So if you don't have something that's right there pressuring you right now, that's great. But I bet if you take a moment, you could find something that could use some processing. The other thing I forgot to mention, it's ideal for that type of journaling that can be cathartic and cleansing, but you're really not sure you'd want someone else to read, ever. You may not even want to be reminded of it yourself. If you'd like a way to process things like that, I have got you covered. The first thing we're going to do is just start writing about that thing that is bugging us. When you get to the end of your first line, just as you usually would, go to the next line, how large you write, and if you go for a square shape or a rectangle, let's just write a few lines. Just let yourself vent. When you have your square or rectangle-ish, we are going to take our journal and we are going to turn it a quarter turn. So you'll have several lines going across your page in the typical way, and then you'll turn and bring your lines this way. When you come to the edge of your words going this way, we're going to turn our page a quarter turn again. So it's upside down. It's sort of right between the lines, so to speak. So when you get to the bottom of those lines, which is the top of your original writing, turn a quarter turn again. Usually by this point, I'm feeling calmer than I am right now. But there are other times where I keep going through and I keep writing and each word goes in a spot that seems to be emptier than the others. And I keep going until equanimity is more restored. But I am calming down. What came to the surface in my venting my frustration about it being such a hassle to get things ready to film this video is my struggle with the imperfection. I really feel like the 52-week art journal is something I should do. And I find it energizing. It's fulfilling to feel like you've found something that fits your temperament and talents and can help others. To share more than I planned to share in the filming of this video, I would love to someday, preferably sooner rather than later, make a living providing therapeutic art services and creating surface pattern designs. And why not think of that more as a goal than a dream? So here we are, witnessing Melinda having a deeper reaction to and interaction with this week's small art project. Than I expected to. And drawing the emotions brought up more for me than I expected as part of this on camera sharing with you. Right now, I'm not sure whether this video is a train wreck or exactly what it's supposed to be. Either way, I hope I have been able to well enough introduce you to a process that works so well for me. I hope you have your own little patch of words upon words And now I invite you to journal about how it felt to be able to just write about something in a journal that you plan to keep, but knowing that it will never be read again. When you come back to your journal, you may remember what you were processing, what you wanted to deal with your words, but all you'll be able to see is that you made something really interesting with them. If you'd like to take a minute to journal about that, or if you'd like to do another page of words upon words, that is actually what I'm going to do now. I think this time I'll start writing this way and then do my quarter turns. Sometimes after I write my first few lines, I will go back over it diagonally. Sometimes instead of writing in lines, as we usually write, I will write in a box. I'm just giving you the basic idea. It's for you to do with what you want. I hope you also find it useful. I tend to process things by either speaking them or writing them. Words upon words is an opportunity for me to just brain dump, if you will. Not worry about anything but just writing the words and letting the unpleasant feelings that go along with the thoughts out with the words. Let's write. The optional next part. I hope you're feeling some release from whatever was picking at you. Sometimes the words I write in my words upon words are rather ugly. If you remember in our drawing our feelings, some things just feel ugly. Sometimes we journal about our brokenness. Sometimes, as well as having securely poured out the words and have this interesting thing left, I also like to make them even more beautiful. My favorite way to bring more beauty to the words I spill is with coloring them with what could be seen as sunrises or sunsets, those colorful skies, usually with a silhouetted tree. That's just my thing. I've also tried flowers and a bird in flight. Right now I'm going to stick with my usual, and for this week, that glowing sky feels right. Pick some interesting edges to follow. I hope you have had some fun, or at least relief, trying your own takes on words upon words and coloring them into something altogether new. I am going to continue with the silhouette of an evergreen tree that has clearly weathered some seasons. Thank you for joining me. If you found value in this video, please like and subscribe to be kept up to date with weekly prompt videos, reclaiming my creativity and my identity as someone who makes art, and stumbling across the 100-day project, becoming an opportunity to develop my own style of art journaling, have had a huge impact on my life. And I'd like to encourage others to reclaim their creativity and experience the benefits of establishing their own habits of creative self-care. I want to encourage you to reclaim your creativity, to establish your own creative self-care routine. Thank you for watching and for the opportunity to encourage you to be creative. Taking time for art is not a waste of time.